Good day, everyone. I'm Marjorie Mashan, and I will be your first presenter for today's report on Module 10, which is the e-commerce law. I am presenting this topic together with Ms. Joyce Anabuan and Mr. Antonio Caballero. As technology continues to shape the way we trade and communicate, understanding e-commerce has become essential, not just for business owners, but also for consumers and professionals like us. Throughout our presentation, we'll discuss the key principles, legal frameworks, and implications of e-commerce law, focusing on how it promotes secure, reliable, and fair online transactions. But before we dive into the main topic, let's talk first about what e-commerce really is. Electronic commerce or e-commerce is the process of buying and selling goods and services over the internet. It involves the exchange of products or services between businesses, consumers, or both. To better understand how e-commerce works, here's the example. Buying a pair of shoes online. First step is to browse the website. The buyer visits an online store, example Shopee or Lazada, then select the product. The buyer chooses a pair of shoes, selects size and color, and then click Add to Cart. The third step is to check out. The buyer goes to the cart, enters the shipping address, and selects delivery options. Next is the payment. The buyer pays using a credit card or digital wallet. Next is the order confirmation. The buyer receives an email with order details and delivery date. The sixth step is shipping and delivery. The store or the seller ships the products, and then the buyer receives them at home. And lastly, post-purchase. The buyer may receive an email for a review or discount on her next purchase. E-commerce business is facilitated through platforms such as websites, mobile apps, or online marketplaces. The basics of e-commerce are similar to any physical store. The main difference is that the online businesses don't need the physical space. Consumers can browse products, make purchases, and complete transactions from home. Another advantage is that the consumer base is not limited to a single geographic location or region, which is one of the key benefits of going online. Example, Shopee, Lazada, Facebook marketplaces, or Zalora, these are all types of e-commerce platform. An e-commerce platform is a software or online services that allows individuals or businesses to create, manage, or operate an online store. It provides all the tools needed to sell products or services over the internet without having a physical storefront. Instead of setting up a physical store, a seller can use an e-commerce platform to be able to do the following. First, display products with images, descriptions, and prices. Manage inventory to track which products are in stock. Handle payments securely through credit cards, digital wallets, or other online payments method. Process the orders and shipping to deliver products to customers. Interact with customers through chat, reviews, or email notifications. E-commerce can be categorized into several types based on the parties involved. Each type serves a specific purpose and plays a vital role in the modern digital economy. Let's start with business to business. Companies selling goods or services to other companies. Example, a supplier selling parts to a manufacturer. Second is the business to consumers. Companies selling directly to consumers. Example, Amazon selling electronics to consumers. The third is consumers to consumer. Consumers selling to other consumers through a platform. Example, eBay or OLX. Next is the consumer to business. Individuals offers products or services to companies. Example, a designer selling logos or photographers selling stocks images. Next is business to administration. Businesses provide services to the government online. Example, online corporate tax filing. Next is the consumers to administration. Individuals interact with the government online. Example of this is paying taxes or renewing licenses online. Now, let's look at how e-commerce influenced the creation of RA 8792. The rapid growth of electronic commerce or e-commerce in the late 1990s significantly influenced the creation of Republic Act No. 8792, or also known as Electronic Commerce Act of 2000. As online transactions, digital communications, and internet-based business models began transforming global trade, the Philippines recognized the urgent need for a legal framework to support and regulate these developments. Before RA 8792, the Philippine legal system had no clear recognition of electronic documents, digital signatures, or online contracts, which pose challenges for businesses and consumers engaging in online transactions. The increasing use of the internet for banking, retail, communication, and data exchange highlighted the limitations of existing laws that only acknowledge paper-based processes. To address these gaps and support the country's participation in the digital economy, RA 8792, or the E-commerce Act of 2000, was enacted. On June 14, 2000, our former President Joseph Ejercito Estrada signed Republic Act No. 8792 into law. Shortly after RA 8792 was passed, implementing rules and regulations, or IRR, were released to clarify and operationalize the key provisions of the Act. The IRR likewise introduced guidelines for authenticating electronic signatures, establishing secure methods for electronic data storage, and clarifying procedures for dispute resolution. Now, let's proceed to the first part of the main topic, and here are the key topics I'll be discussing. First, the overview of the RE 8792, which includes the purpose and the objective, the coverage and the legal validity of the electronic transactions. Second is the key definitions and concepts, which includes the data message, electronic document, and electronic signatures. And lastly, the principles of the Electronic Commerce Act, which includes functional equivalency doctrine and the technology neutrality. Let's go to the legal provision. Republic Act No. 8792, or Electronic Commerce Act of 2000, an act providing for the recognition and use of electronic commercial and non-commercial transactions and documents, penalties for unlawful use thereof and for other purposes. The E-commerce Act was enacted to facilitate and safeguard electronic transactions in commercial and non-commercial activities. The law promotes the growth of electronic commerce, or e-commerce, by providing a secure and predictable legal environment for transactions that occur digitally. The purpose of RA 8792 is to ensure that this digital transaction is legally recognized, just like a paper-based transaction. It promotes trust in the platform by making electronic contracts, signatures, and receipts legally valid. This means that the system or law is designed to make online or digital transactions just as official and enforceable as transactions done on paper. The objective of this law is to protect both the buyer and the seller by establishing rules for online transactions. This establishes a clear legal framework for conducting electronic or online transactions. It ensures fairness, accountability, and legal certainty for both parties, the buyer and the seller. It encourages digital growth, making it easier and safer for businesses to sell online and for consumers to shop confidently. Example, a small footwear business in the Philippines operates through Shopee, a leading e-commerce platform. When a customer from another city places an order and makes payment online, an electronic receipt is issued. In the event of a dispute, such as non-delivery of the product, these electronic records, including receipts and email, are considered admissible evidence in court. Next is the coverage. The law applies to any form of data message, electronic documents, and electronic signatures used in commercial and non-commercial transactions. It covers all forms of communication in which data is transmitted electronically, thereby impacting areas such as contracts, payments, and document storage. The statement is saying that the law applies to all types of information and communication that happen electronically, not just on paper. The law applies to both commercial and non-commercial transactions. Commercial transactions are those business-related activities such as online shopping, digital contracts, or electronic fund transfer. For non-commercial transactions, these are the personal or non-business activities like sending official documents electronically to a government agency or signing a consent form online. Example scenario: electronic payment of bills via GCash. A resident in Quezon City uses GCash, a popular mobile wallet in the Philippines, to pay their Meralco electricity bill. Under the Electronic Commerce Act, this online bill payment is legally valid and enforceable. The data messages, electronic documents, and electronic signatures involved are all recognized as legitimate form of communication and proof of transaction. Next is the legal validity of electronic transactions. Under this article, data messages, electronic documents, and electronic signatures are recognized as legally binding, similar to the written documents and physical signatures. This is foundational to the Act, as it establishes electronic equivalence in legal documentation, meaning they have the same legal weight and effect as traditional, paper-based documents and handwritten signatures. The law creates electronic equivalence, meaning anything done electronically, whether sending a message, signing a contract, or keeping a record, is legally the same as doing it on paper. This ensures that business and personal transactions conducted online are secure, valid, and enforceable in the eyes of the law. Example: signing a loan agreement via email and DocuSign. A freelancer in Cebu applies for a personal loan from an online lending platform like Tonic Bank or Maya Bank. The bank sends the loan agreement as PDF via email. The borrower signs it electronically using DocuSign or the bank's built-in e-signature features. The loan agreement sent electronically is considered an electronic document. The signature made digitally through DocuSign is an electronic signature. According to the E-commerce Act, both are legally equivalent to physical documents and handwritten signatures. The signed electronic agreement is legally binding and enforceable in court. If either party fails to honor the terms, example the borrower's default, the lender can present the electronic loan agreement as valid legal evidence. Key definitions and concepts. First, we have data message. A data message refers to information generated, sent, received, or stored electronically. Examples include emails, text, electronic records, and other digital formats that can carry business or personal transactions. Second, we have electronic document. An electronic document is defined as information or representation of data that is created, stored, or communicated electronically. It can be used to signify evidence of any transaction or legal relationship. Example: digital receipts from online or in-store purchases, e-tickets for flight, concerts, or events, scanned contracts stored in PDF format, emails confirming transactions or agreements, online bank statement, electronic invoices, or billing statements. It contains proof of payments and can be stored, retrieved, or printed if needed, having the same legal effect as a printed receipt. The third one is the electronic signature. An electronic signature refers to any distinctive digital method used by a person to signify an authenticity of a document or message, such as digital signatures or biometric authentication. Under RA 8792, electronic signatures have the same legal status as handwritten signatures, provided they are reliable and meet certain verification standards. Example: e-signature, facial recognition, fingerprint scan, and PIN or OTP or one-time password. It signifies their consent and authorization for the transaction. Principles of the electronic commerce. First, we have functional equivalency doctrine. This principle ensures that electronic records and signatures are not denied validity simply because they exist in electronic form. The law requires that electronic forms of documentation be treated as equivalent to their paper counterparts if they meet certain standards. To be legally equivalent to paper documents, electronic records and signatures must satisfy specific conditions to ensure their authenticity, integrity, and reliability. Under authenticity, it must be possible to verify who created or sent the electronic document or signature. Example: a digital signature that can be traced back to the signer's verified account or identity. Under integrity, the content must be unchanged and tamper-proof from the time it was created or sent. Example: a PDF contract that is digitally signed and locked so no one can alter it without detection. Under reliability, the electronic system or method used must be dependable and secure. Example: using trusted platforms like Gcash, DocuSign, or government e-portals that ensure data security. Next, we have technology neutrality. The law does not prescribe specific technologies for secure electronic transactions. This neutrality allows the legal framework to remain applicable and adaptable regardless of technological advances. This principle means that the law does not require or endorse any specific technology, software, or system to be used for electronic transactions, digital signatures, or data security. The law's technology neutral approach ensures it remains flexible and future proof. It does not favor or require specific tools, but instead focuses on universal legal principles: authenticity, integrity, and reliability. This way, the law can continue to apply no matter how technology evolves, ensuring that all secure electronic transactions are legally valid, whether done today or decades from now. Example: whether you use a digital signature, facial recognition, or a fingerprint scan to authorize an online bank transaction, all are accepted because the law is neutral and does not require any specific method. Lastly, here are the takeaways and learnings from Republic Act No. 8790. First, the law encourages the use of technology in business and government transactions, making processes faster and more convenient. It promotes trust and confidence in online dealings by giving electronic documents and signatures legal recognition. RA 8792 supports the growth of e-commerce and helps the Philippines keep up with the digital age. It shows the importance of cybersecurity and responsible use of technology in protecting online transactions. Overall, the law highlights how digital transformation can improve efficiency, accessibility, and innovation in both public and private sector. And that concludes my part of the discussion. I'll now pass it on to Miss Joyce Anabuan, who will take us through the next part of our presentation.